today's video, I've pulled another card from the Rhythm and Soul Tarot. So let's go ahead and see what we have today. The Queen of Axes. And let's see if she has anything to say, especially about the court cards. Let's see. She says, because the courts are royalty in the deck, they represent archetypes of people who perfectly encompass the highest energies of culmination of their respective suit. The court cards are like the Jack, Queen, and King in a regular playing card deck, except that instead of Jack, we have two lower court cards, the Page and the Knight. While court cards can be understood to represent real people in your life, they also work well as archetypes or universal personalities. I prefer to see them as universal symbols, unless the card's just hollering at me. This is about mom, for example. Go with your intuition. Traditionally in tarot practice, the court cards were used to intentionally represent a person in your life based on aspects like gender, astrological sign, and personality. Tarot readers who use significator cards will learn about their subject, gender, birth date, situation, etc., and choose a card to represent them, placing it right in the middle of the table. For example, my son at the time of this writing is in his early 20s. He's an air sign and very ambitious. If I were to choose a significator card for him, the Knight of Axes would be perfect. Meanwhile, I'm a middle-aged female creative and a fire sign, so a good card for me might be the Queen of Jazz. Personally, I do not do this as part of my practice, but I do use people that I know as a kind of shorthand to understand the card personalities sometimes. So if the Knight of Axes comes up at random in a reading, I might think to myself, this refers to someone like my son, assertive, talkative, and quick-witted. And the Axis suit is the air element, so that would be, I always mess this up, I think that's swords, is what that would be. I love it when people do their own spin on the suits, but also easily get confused. Alright, so the Queen of Axes. Clever, progressive, thinking, leadership, sharp, badass, witty. And the quote is from Rihanna. There's something special about a woman who dominates in a man's world. It takes a certain grace, strength, intelligence, fearlessness, and the nerve to never take no for an answer. The queens in this deck are all inspired by real, legendary women who made history in their musical genres. In tarot, the queens are the mothers of the deck, and all represent some aspect of feminine leadership. As counters to the king cards, they show us a form of leadership that is empathic, supportive, and receptive. Both the queens and the kings represent mature people. Unlike the others, the Queen of Axes leads with the power of her acute intelligence, her wit, and cunning. She is a savvy businesswoman, a rebel, and most likely an outlier. She's not afraid to stand up and go for the title, even in a man's world. If you're using the Queen of Axes as a significator card, this would be a good one for a strong, mature woman with sparkling wit. The Queen of Axes is inspired by the early female pioneers of rock music like Wanda Jackson. When most people think of early rock and rollers, it's always the men, Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, and so on, who are remembered from the headlines. As in so many other aspects of human accomplishment, the women were treated like a secondary phenomenon, a novelty. Wanda Jackson was even billed for a while as the female Elvis, despite having a wholly distinctive voice and completely different take on her art than he did. Her other nickname was far more fitting, the Queen of Rockabilly. Reversed. because the Queen is representative of strong and honest communication. The reversal of the card tells you that the open communication is blocked or that the strategy is not working. It could be that there's a strong woman in your story whose intentions are not good ones, such as a toxic female boss or overbearing mother. And the song associated with the Queen of Axes is The Hard-Headed Woman by Wanda Jackson. So that is the Queen of Axes, which is, I think, the swords, from the Rhythm and Soul Tarot. And I hope this was helpful to you today, and hope to see you again soon.